good to see you. It's so good to be here. I had such a wonderful time in Vancouver. I heard amazing speakers that reminded us of who we are and what we do in the world, and it was great. And yet I'm not going to give you any of that information yet, because I have been working on a talk for weeks that has just been bubbling up in me called The 10 Biggest Lies. And sometimes people say things or I hear things as they go by, and I just want to stop them and go, liar, liar, and that usually isn't taken very well. So I thought it'd be better if I just kind of put it all together in a teaching about how we lie. I remember when I first went to see Will Rocking Bear, and the very first thing he told me is, you've got to stop lying. I was so deeply insulted. Obviously, this man doesn't know who I am. I'm Barbara Waterhouse. I'm a religious science minister. I don't lie. And then I started looking at the many ways that I lied. I was so embarrassed. But if we don't know what we don't know, we can't change it. That's the great thing about having a teacher, is you don't know what you don't know until you come to a center like this, or you find a teacher, or you find a teaching, and then you can get who you are and what's going on and how you're using these spiritual principles to create your life. So I want to talk about lies, and I just want us all to know it's okay. It is not a personal indictment. It is just the human condition, and we can turn those around. We can absolutely turn these lies around. And the first one that I always teach everyone on the first day of my women's circles, if you're interested in a women's circle, contact me, is, I don't know. When you sit in circle with me, you are not allowed to say, I don't. I see these women nodding their heads. You're not allowed to say, I don't know. Why? Because if you tell yourself you don't know, then you don't have to know. A more honest answer would be, I don't want to know. Well, then if we don't want to know, we have something to work with. But if we just say, oh, I don't know. How do you feel about that? I don't know. What do you want to do with that? I don't know. What do you think's going on there? I don't know. That's a way to shut down, to stop, to build up a barrier between us and our growth, us and our future us. By simply saying, I don't know, we give up all of our power. And the truth is that we do know. There's only one mind. That mind is God's mind. That mind is my mind now. I know everything. I passed algebra in college with that affirmation. I would sit down to take a test. I wanted to say I don't know so much. And instead I would say, I know that there's only one mind, the mind of God. That mind is my mind now. Whoever created this thing called algebra, whoever wrote this test and whoever's grading this test is all part of the mind of God. That is my mind now, and I know everything that I need to know. I got a 4.0 in algebra. I know everything that I need to know at the moment that I need to know it. And if I open up to those things that I don't want to know and realize that I know them anyway, then I have something to work with. So if you ever have that phrase, I don't know, come out of your mouth, I want you to hear my voice, liar. Barbara, you can't call people liars. Sure I can. Of course I can. And I call myself a liar. I call myself some interesting names. But I call myself a liar when I'm choosing to lie to myself. And I think it's a good friend that will call us on our stuff. I think it's a good teacher that will call us on our stuff. And if we don't have a teacher or a friend around, we've got to be that to ourselves and say, that is not the truth of who I am. I do know. I may not consciously know at this moment. I'll give you that. These are all phrases that women in my circles have come up with. I don't consciously know at this moment. I don't want to know. It has not been revealed to me yet. But we may not consciously know at this moment, but there is a part of us that knows. And if we open up to that, we can know. There's a story about Michael Beckwith right before the stock market crashed a number of years ago. And he was sitting in meditation, and he got a very clear guidance to go sell all of his stocks. And so he took that and he went into a stockbroker and he said, I just want to liquidate all of my stocks. You want to what? I want to liquidate all of my stocks. I want you to sell all the stocks in my portfolio. It was weeks later that the stock market crashed. Now, he knew that, and I wonder how many other people got that little nudge. You got to sell that stuff. You got to look at putting it into something else. And they went, no, that's crazy talk. I don't want to do that. There's a part of us that always knows. You may not want to marry that person. You may not want to go down that street. Don't do that. Don't go into business there. Don't do that. Do this. Go in here. Buy this. Explore this. And instead of saying there's a part of me that is divinely guided all the time, I always know what I need to know, we don't know. I don't know. Maybe not now. Nobody else is doing it. So what I want to encourage us to do is, first of all, accept that the presence and the power of the divine as us knows. That's why it is called divine wisdom. Because it knows, we know what we need to know when we need to know it. Breathe. Second lie. I forgot. I forgot. As if we can forget anything. As if there's any spot where we can take what we know, what we agreed to, what we said we would do, and we can put it aside to where it's not there. I forgot. We never forget. We may choose not to remember. Think about it the last time. Think about it the last time you forgot something. Wasn't it convenient? It was either convenient because you didn't want to remember, or it was convenient to your destructive pattern that you were operating out of at the time. Watch me sabotage this, I'll forget. No, we never forget, we always know. We pick and choose what we decide to know, but it's always there. We are never at effect, we are always at cause, we are always conscious beings. We always know and we always remember. The next one, I can't. I would if I could, but I can't. Gee, I'd love to do that, but I can't. I know you all can do it, but I can't. Oh, come on. We are powerful, creative, spiritual beings alive and well on planet Earth. It was either W. Clement Stone or Henry Ford that said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. It's completely up to you, what you decide. And very often I've heard the idea of I can't translated to I won't. Or I did that. I did that. It kind of reminds me of Urkel in that show a long time ago when he would say, did I do that? Well, of course you did that. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you wrong. But of course you did that. Nobody else rules us. Nobody else rules us. Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning talks about when he was in a concentration camp and he could take, I think it was 3 steps in his cell. He said they could do whatever they wanted to his body, but they couldn't take away his mind. He walked all over Europe. He met the most wonderful people during his time in that cell. He said they couldn't take away his mind. He could do whatever he wanted to do, no matter what was going on physically. If you decide that someone else is the boss of you, you will stay spiritually immature for the rest of your life. Grow up. Nobody makes you do anything. Nobody can keep you from doing anything. It's all you. You have the power in your life. If you stand up and take it, you will experience that. Otherwise, you take that power, you give it away to someone, and then you blame them. And all they did was love you enough to take your power and do what you asked them to do. Rule me. Okay, I'll rule you. And then a lot of people will be very happy to rule you, to make you do stuff, to not let you do stuff in the story in your head. But the only reason that that's acting out is because you orchestrated it. You're the director that can call stop at any moment. Cut. Let's shoot that scene again. Let's shoot it where the power is in the individual. And they decide what kind of life they're going to live, and they live it. What about the next one? I don't have enough. I just don't have enough. Because, you know, there's not enough. I live in a limited universe instead of an unlimited universe, so there's not enough. There's not enough money. There's not enough time. There's not enough love. I don't have enough education. I don't have what it takes. I don't have enough. Now let's look at that. If there was ever a spot where there was not enough, then we would be living in a limited universe. There would be some kind of an edge to where the infinite is, and the infinite would not be absolute anymore. There would not be a unity. There would not be a unified field, literally. Mathematically, according to the laws of physics, time and space would not hold together. If there was any kind of limitation on an absolute level, we would not be able to be here in physical form. So every time you say, I don't have enough, what you're doing is saying that the whole physical experience doesn't exist. That I have changed the laws of the cosmos so that I can feel this lack. That's pretty powerful. I would say you have quite a bit of power and creativity and strength. I've always marveled that in an abundant universe, a universe of love, a universe of light, that we can feel poor. I mean, think about the power that it takes. It's like a fish getting in the water and managing to feel dry. How much do they have to talk themselves up to that? There's no water, there's no water, I'm perfectly dry. I can feel the wind blowing through my scales and my fins. They've got to work it, because anytime they falter, they're going to feel wet. You live and move and have your being in abundance and love and light and joy and health and wholeness. And if you have any kind of a story at all that says you don't have that, it's a lie. The sixth one. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. I remember sitting encircled with Rocking Bear. I have Rocking Bear in my heart a lot lately because he passed so recently. And I remember sitting encircled with Rocking Bear, and someone would say that they're alone, and he would go, oh, did someone cut down all the trees in Asheville? Did someone take away all of the animals and send the birds away? That you're alone? Tell me, what has happened? And what he was referring to is the fact that we are connected with everything, with everyone. You know, actually, if you want to get to the more subtle layers of science of mind, we are one being. We are one being. It's as if you took a paper and poked holes in it and put it in front of a light bulb, and the light is shooting out through the holes looking like individual rays, but it's one light. And so I may be here and you may be there and someone else may be there, but we are actually one being. So how could we be alone? Not to mention the animals, the trees, the birds, the very air itself, the angels in this room, the light and the love and the glory of it all. We are one being. And how hard is it to keep our heart closed to that? It takes a lot of work to feel alone. It takes a lot of work to feel unloved and separate. Because the truth is that we are all that light and that love of spirit. We all know everything that we need to know. We choose to remember whatever it is we do. We can have and do anything. We are the ones calling the shots. We have an abundance of everything. And we are all one. So if I need something from me, that myself is going to show up with it. You can pull people in. Have you tried that? Think about someone you haven't spoken with for a while. Watch how you get an email, get a text, get a Facebook post, the phone rings. You can pull that person in. You can look at someone, I do this, who's turned away from you. And you can send your energy to that person, and they will turn and look. That's because we are the same. It's not even that we are connected, although that's an easier way to talk about it. We are the same. We are all the same. Right now, there are almost 9 billion of us on the planet, plus myriad other life forms that we are. We are all of them, and they are us. Number 7, it's impossible. It's just impossible. It's never going to happen. You know, it didn't happen to anybody else. So it's not going to happen. I got the diagnosis. Not going to happen. That's ridiculous. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. For that matter, we do the impossible all the time. We do the impossible all the time. That's what we are. We are possibility beings. Here we are alive and well. Do you know what it takes just to sit in that chair? Do you know the biochemical reactions that are going on in your body to digest your breakfast, your coffee, your dinner last night, to take the air in and move it through your bloodstream and have your brain think? The very fact that you are sitting upright is amazing. One of the things that happened in Vancouver, I'm going to make sure I don't have a better segue for it. And this is just because I want to fit it in. We were sitting waiting for our flight, and we had a conversation with a friend of ours, Michelle Madrano, who's the minister in Phoenix, and she was telling us about an interview that she saw. And the interview was with an oncologist. And the oncologist told the interviewer that, was it a she? I think it was a she. Just thought I'd fit that in. That she was going to say something very controversial. And she said, you know, there's two things going on. One is that through technology, we have managed to find cancer very, very early on. And we can find all kinds of new cancers that we couldn't find before until much later. So we can find those cancers very early on. She said the other part of that is that 60 to 75% of all of those cancers would just be taken care of by the body naturally if we would just leave it alone. If we would just leave it alone. And what the problem was is that you start to intervene and you start creating all kinds of chaos in the body, and then the body doesn't do its natural thing. So what she is saying is that right here and right now, we are handling up to 75% of any cancer that may pop up if we would just leave it alone. Now, what do you think happens if we give it a little oomph? A little love, a little light, a little positive thinking, a little affirmation, maybe a little acupuncture. I saw Sissy at the airport coming in. Maybe a little massage, maybe a little chanting, maybe a little happiness, maybe a little coming to the Center for Spiritual Living, and we sing, we open up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. What do you think that does to your immune system? Oh, but it's impossible. Because we can't, and we don't know. And it's making us. Lies, lies, lies. And the next one is, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Or, I didn't mean it. Or, it was just a joke. What a coincidence. None of that is real. None of that is real. We do what we do, and the faster that we'll take responsibility for doing what we do, the faster we can shift it if we want to. We don't have to. We don't have to, but we are not sorry sorts. And saying I'm sorry is not an excuse to just continue old behavior. If we take responsibility for it and we overt it, wow, I really plowed into you there, didn't I? Huh. Wonder what's going on inside of me that I felt that need. I wonder what I need to heal. I wonder what's coming up for me that I'm ready to release by acting that out instead of sorry and then run away. No. We are powerful, creative, spiritual beings alive and well on planet Earth. We do not run away. We are honest with who we are and what's going on so that we can grow and evolve and change. Number 9, it's just a coincidence that goes along with I'm sorry, as if we are not here by divine appointment. We are here because we are powerful, creative, spiritual beings, and we have chosen to be connected with each other. Every person, whether it's someone at the stoplight, someone in the grocery store, or someone right here in this room. And the last one, I don't have a choice. I just don't have any choice in the matter. This is the way that it is. It can never change because I can't change, because I don't know and I forgot and I can't and they made me and I don't have enough and I'm all alone and it's impossible and I'm sorry. And it's just a coincidence of the way that it is, and that's why I don't have a choice. Hello? These are the lies that creep into our thoughts. that keep us from being who we are. We are powerful God beings of light and love, creating our experience every second of the day. And when we allow ourselves the dubious luxury of falling into race consciousness and race thinking that says these things are okay, it costs us. It costs us in our bank account. It costs us in our physical body. It costs us in our relationships. And most of all, it costs us in being who we have come here to be. A light being of power and clarity to lift everyone else up around us as we lift ourselves up. The only way that that's ever going to happen is if we stop lying and start telling ourselves the truth. The truth that God is all that there is. You can get that off of there. The truth that love is all that there is, if I have another slide. Yeah, the truth that each and every one of us can have the life that we've dreamed of, that we've longed for, and that we have chosen if we will just begin to acknowledge who we are and what's really going on. I love you very much, and so it is.